So, what if I told you that being mentally healthy isn't just about not feeling bad? What if it's something we can actually build, like a muscle? Today, we're going to dive deep into the science of mental health to really get what it means to thrive, not just survive. All right, let's jump in.
For the longest time, a lot of us, scientists included, saw mental health as this really simple black or white thing. If you didn't have a diagnosed illness, well, you were healthy. But we've learned so much since then, and it's way more nuanced than that. Thinking that way is kind of like saying you're physically fit just because you don't have the flu, right? There's a whole world of well-being out there.
Okay, so if it's not just about not being sick, then what is it? Well, the World Health Organization gives us this really powerful definition. And what's amazing here is the shift in focus. It's all about positive actions, well-being, coping, being productive, contributing. It's all about our ability to actually engage with life, not just sort of endure it.
And this is the best way to picture it. Mental health isn't an on-off switch. It's a spectrum, a continuum. Just think about your own life for a second. Some weeks, you're just on fire. Everything's clicking. That's flourishing. Other times, maybe you're just getting by. You feel kind of meh. That's languishing. And you know what? Most of us are sliding up and down this scale all the time. That's totally 100% normal.
So that begs the question, right? What decides where we land on that spectrum on any given day? Well, to understand that, scientists use this incredible framework called the biopsychosocial model. You can think of it as the actual blueprint for our mental state.
So this model boils things down to three main pillars, and they're all interconnected. First, you've got the biological. That's like your brain's hardware. Then the psychological. That's the software running on it. And finally, the social pillar. That's the environment the whole system is operating in. The key thing here is that they're always talking to each other. So let's break down what's in each one.
This is where it gets so fascinating, because it shows that mental health isn't just some vague concept. It's physical. It's rooted in our brain's chemistry, its wiring. Take this for example. You get cut off in traffic, and you feel that immediate flash of rage. That's your amygdala, your emotion center, just firing off. But then, a strong connection to your prefrontal cortex, your logic center, steps in and says, whoa, chill out, it's not worth it. When that connection is weaker, our emotions can totally hijack our thinking.
Next up, we have the psychological software. This is all about our internal world, right? Our thought patterns, our beliefs, the stories we tell ourselves. There's this incredible concept called automatic thoughts. These are the split-second judgments our brains make. So, say you make a mistake at work. An automatic thought might just pop up, I'm a failure. And that single thought can trigger sadness, which then makes you less motivated, and suddenly you're stuck in this nasty negative loop.
And of course, none of us exist in a bubble. The social pillar looks at the world around us, and it is huge. Stressors like feeling isolated can take a massive toll, and the research on adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, is just mind-blowing. These experiences can literally rewire a child's brain, making their internal alarm system way too sensitive, sometimes for the rest of their lives. But here's the hopeful part. A strong community, real support, that acts as a powerful shield, a buffer against all that stress.
So, we've got these three pillars: the biological, the psychological, and the social. What happens when that delicate balance between them gets seriously thrown off? Well, that's when we can start to see the emergence of diagnosable mental health conditions.
Let's look at two of the most common ones. Now, anxiety and depression can sometimes feel tangled up, but they have really distinct scientific footprints. Anxiety is often this intense, persistent worry about the future, about what might happen. Depression, on the other hand, is often characterized by this deep sadness and loss of interest that's tied more to the past and the present. The main thing to get here is that we're talking about more than just fleeting emotions. These are real, clinical conditions with persistent symptoms that really mess with your daily life.
And the global impact of this stuff, it is absolutely staggering. According to the Massive Global Burden of Disease study, mental disorders are the single leading cause of disability worldwide. Just let that sink in for a second. That means they have a bigger impact on people's ability to work, to have relationships, to just live their lives than any other category of illness out there.
Okay, I know, that sounds like a massive challenge. But this is where the science gets incredibly empowering. Because by understanding that blueprint of mental health, we've been able to create this powerful, evidence-based toolkit to help people restore that crucial balance.
And here are some of the key tools in that kit. We've got therapies like CBT, which basically helps us learn to catch and reframe those harmful automatic thoughts. We have mindfulness practices, which have been proven to literally strengthen the connection between our brain's logic and emotion centers.
When it's needed, there's medical support to help rebalance brain chemistry. And we can't ever forget the sheer power of lifestyle. Things like exercise can literally grow new brain cells.
This brings us to a really crucial point about what recovery actually means. From a scientific view, it's not about being cured or erasing everything that happened. It's more like that Japanese art of kintsugi, where they repair broken pottery with gold. Recovery is about building the tools and the resilience to live a full, meaningful life, where even the tough experiences, the cracks, become part of your strength.
So let's just take a step back. We have the scientific understanding, we have tools that we know work, so what's the biggest thing stopping people from getting the help they need? Well, research points to one overwhelming obstacle, and it's rooted firmly in our social world.
It's stigma, the shame, the misunderstanding, the prejudice that still surrounds mental health. Honestly, more than any single biological factor, this is the thing that prevents millions of people from seeking and getting the help they absolutely need and deserve.
And you can see here how this stigma creates this truly vicious cycle. It starts with social stigma, all those negative stereotypes out there in the world. That can lead to self-stigma, where we actually start to believe that stuff and feel ashamed. That shame makes us afraid to ask for help, which means the condition often gets worse. And that in turn just seems to reinforce those original stereotypes. It's just a devastating, self-feeding loop.
Which brings us to the ultimate conclusion from decades and decades of research. And it's this: there is no health without mental health. They are not two separate things. They're one and the same. Our mental well-being is the very foundation that our physical health, our relationships, and our ability to show up in the world are all built on.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Knowing all this, knowing that mental health is a fundamental part of being human and its stigma is its greatest enemy, what's one small thing, just one thing in our conversations, in our communities, or even just in our own head that we can start to change, beginning today?